It was behind the scenes because I think publicly she knew she had to be very professional.
After decades of royal drama, one of the Queen's former advisors has finally opened up at 75 years. And what she said about Camilla will leave you stunned. For years, people wondered what the late Queen really thought. Was Camilla truly accepted or just tolerated? Now, the truth is being revealed by someone who stood by the Queen's side till her last days. Join us as we find out the late Queen's true feelings about Camilla's presence in the royal family. A bittersweet love. Charles and Camilla's early years together were full of trouble and confusion. Their relationship started off strong but quickly ran into problems. Some believe they met too early in life. Charles was still young and had many responsibilities, especially in the military. He didn't ask Camilla to wait for him, and this led to distance between them. At the same time, it was said that Lord Mountbatten sent Charles away on purpose, hoping to stop the relationship. He wanted Charles to marry someone else, his granddaughter, Amanda Knatchbull. There were other problems too. Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, was not pleased with Camilla. She had her own ideas about who Charles should marry. She preferred someone from the Spencer family, someone connected to her dear friend, Lady Fermoy. Camilla, meanwhile, had her own complicated love life. Since the late 1960s, she had been in a relationship with Andrew Parker Bowles. Their romance was unstable and often on and off, which added more tension to her connection with Charles. On top of this, Charles himself didn't seem fully ready to settle down. He had decided to wait until he was 30 before marrying anyone. Even if Charles had wanted to marry Camilla back then, the royal household would not have allowed it. Many close to the palace, including his cousin Patricia Knatchbull, felt Camilla was not the right choice for a future queen. People behind the scenes did not think she was suitable, no matter how close Charles felt to her. Still, they stayed close friends. Then, in 1979, a tragic event changed everything. Lord Mountbatten was lost to the Provisional Irish Republican Army. Charles was deeply hurt by the loss. During this dark time, Camilla offered him comfort, and their bond seemed to grow stronger. Whispers about their relationship started again. Some believed it had never ended. But soon after, Charles turned his attention to Lady Diana Spencer. Their relationship became serious very quickly and attracted a lot of public interest. In 1981, they were married in a huge royal wedding watched by millions around the world. Years later, the truth about Charles and Camilla came out. Their private affair became widely known and caused serious damage to both of their reputations. In 1992, a book called Diana, Her True Story, told the world about Charles's infidelity. Things got worse the following year with the release of a recorded phone call between Charles and Camilla. The call shocked the public and made many people angry. It painted their relationship in a very negative way. Charles's popularity dropped quickly, and Camilla faced a flood of harsh media attacks. In 1994, Charles decided to speak about the affair on television. He admitted that his marriage with Diana had fallen apart by 1986, and that his relationship with Camilla had started again during that time. After both Charles and Camilla divorced their spouses, they no longer hid their connection. Charles showed clearly that he wanted Camilla to remain a part of his life. Camilla, however, continued to face strong public criticism. But slowly, she began to show up with Charles at public events. Their first official appearance together as a couple happened in 1999 at a birthday party for her sister at the Ritz Hotel in London. The media covered the event closely, and it marked an important step forward for them. Another big moment came in that same year when Camilla met Queen Elizabeth II. For the first time since her relationship with Charles had become known, they met at a birthday party for former Greek King Constantine II. The meeting was seen as a possible sign of acceptance from the Queen. Over the next few years, Camilla became more involved in royal life. By 2000, Camilla was taking part in more public duties, often standing beside Charles. In 2001, she became president of the Royal Osteoporosis Society, a position that helped improve how the public saw her. In 2002, she attended the Queen's Golden Jubilee celebrations and sat just behind the Queen during a major concert at Buckingham Palace. During this period, Charles began to show how important Camilla was to him. He paid for her security team with his own money. Although Camilla kept her house, Ray Mill, which she had bought in 1995, she eventually moved into Clarence House with Charles. By 2004, she was a regular presence at Charles's official events, even attending the well-known Highland Games in Scotland. As time went on, people started to believe that an engagement might be coming. Polls in the United Kingdom showed that more people were supporting the idea of Charles and Camilla getting married. Still, not everyone was on their side. Many who loved Princess Diana remained against Camilla. Even with all this pressure, Camilla's role continued to grow. She stayed beside Charles through every challenge, slowly becoming more accepted by the public and by the royal family. Her journey from a controversial figure to a visible royal companion happened step by step, shaped by patience, loyalty, and time. How the late Queen initially felt about Camilla. When Camilla became part of the royal family, many people across the country remained deeply upset. They did not see her as someone who deserved to stand where Princess Diana once stood. Even though she had married Prince Charles, the public still saw her as someone who had broken apart a beloved relationship. Over and over, the media repeated this view, often calling her the woman who came between Charles and Diana. For a long time, that image stuck. It took years of careful planning and delicate decisions to slowly help Camilla fit into royal life. This journey wasn't quick or easy. Within the royal household, opinions were not all the same. While some accepted the marriage, many were uncomfortable. Queen Elizabeth II herself strongly disapproved of the idea. Her disagreement wasn't hidden either. For a long time, Queen Elizabeth kept her distance. She didn't speak about Camilla publicly or invite her to many royal events. It wasn't until the year 2000 that she took a small step forward by attending a party at Highgrove House, where Camilla lived with Charles. That small action showed she was beginning to show some level of acceptance, but her support was cautious. She seemed to reflect the mood of the public, slowly warming up to Camilla but never fully embracing her at once. Although she gave her blessing for the marriage, she chose not to attend the civil wedding ceremony, sending a message that was impossible to ignore. That moment showed how deep the dispute ran, not only between the couple and the public, but also within the family itself. The wedding, although important, didn't carry the warmth often seen in such events. When it came time to take the official wedding photos, the royal couple stood on the steps while the Queen and Prince Philip stayed behind. They didn't join them closely for pictures. This separation may have looked small, but it showed that things weren't as joyful as they should have been. Something emotional was missing. Princess Anne, Charles's sister, was especially distant. Her expression gave away her true feelings. She didn't smile and avoided looking at Camilla. Her reaction was cold, making it clear she wasn't celebrating inside, even though the crowd was cheering. Camilla may have officially become Charles's wife, but doubts remained about her place in the royal structure. Many wondered if she should take on royal duties, and not everyone wanted her representing the monarchy. The shadow of her past relationship with Charles still followed her. Even Queen Elizabeth was uncertain in the beginning. At first, she didn't feel comfortable with Camilla taking on roles in the Church of England. These doubts made it harder for Camilla to move forward. Behind the scenes, Charles worked very carefully to protect his future as king. He wanted to make sure that his relationship with Camilla would not block his path. Over the years, he patiently tried to change people's minds and worked to gain his mother's support. Then, a very important moment came in February 2022. That month, Queen Elizabeth made it clear she wanted Camilla to become queen consort when Charles took the throne. That decision changed a lot. It gave Camilla a much stronger place within the royal family, showing that the queen now supported her publicly. Still, not everyone felt the same way. Even after the queen gave her approval, people across the country had different reactions. Some started to accept Camilla more, saying she had earned her place. Others could not forget her past and continued to speak against her role. The painful memories of the past had not disappeared for many. Camilla's position remained difficult. and she still had to win over many hearts. Camilla tried her best to fit in with her new family. She was often friendly and easygoing, hoping to make new connections. But one person remained distant, Princess Anne. Even though they appeared polite to each other in public, those who knew the family said their bond was not close. Their personalities clashed. Camilla often took a relaxed view of royal life, while Anne believed in doing things properly and following traditions closely. These differences made it hard for them to connect deeply. Anne had always been known for being serious and hardworking. She believed in duty and didn't like anything that felt casual or unplanned. When Charles married Camilla, Anne wasn't pleased. The early years of their marriage were especially difficult. It took time for Camilla to understand what was expected of her, and Anne didn't make it easier. While both women were committed to their royal roles, Anne was still unsure about Camilla's choices and behavior. That tension, though mostly kept private, brought a lot of challenges for the royal family. When Charles became king and Camilla took on the title of Queen Consort, the old debate started again. Some welcomed her with open arms, saying she had changed and deserved the title. But many others were unhappy. They believed that because of her past, she shouldn't carry such an important role. Her new title stirred deep feelings across the country. Even after all these years, Camilla's journey in the royal family continues to face challenges. Her role has become more stable, but not without ongoing resistance and division, especially concerning her title and function. The significance of royal titles. Before she passed away, Queen Elizabeth made a clear decision about Camilla's future role. She had stated that once Charles became king, Camilla would be known as the Queen Consort. It was a title given with careful thought and deep respect for royal tradition. After the coronation, however, something began to shift slowly but clearly. Camilla started to use the shorter title of Queen, and many people, including the media, followed her lead. The word consort quietly disappeared from view, and this change did not sit well with everyone in the royal family. The Queen's former advisor claimed that Princess Anne, who is known for her calm and traditional nature, felt bothered by this. She didn't speak up right away, but she eventually decided to say something. During a dinner party, Anne, who often speaks directly and without hesitation, told Camilla that she was not the queen, but the Queen Consort. Her words made it obvious that she didn't approve of how the title had changed. For Anne, respecting royal titles was not just a matter of language. It was about honoring rules and the memory of their late mother, who had been deeply serious about such matters. Anne's response created a moment of tension, since few others had dared to speak so honestly. Many members of the family had accepted the new title without comment, even though it didn't follow what Queen Elizabeth had wanted. Anne, however, felt it was important to stick to the plan and follow what had been decided. To outsiders, this detail may seem minor, but within the royal family, every title holds deep meaning. Words like queen or queen consort are not used loosely. They represent roles, traditions, and responsibilities that have been built over hundreds of years. That is why Anne felt uncomfortable seeing Camilla use the title of queen without the full context. For Anne, rules are there for a reason. She has always lived her life by them and expects others in the family to do the same. Camilla's new title of Queen Consort had already helped her move past the criticism that once surrounded her. It showed that she was now fully accepted within the royal family. Still, the sudden change in how she was addressed revealed that not all wounds had healed. The title shift reminded everyone that some parts of the family still felt uneasy about her place in the monarchy. Anne, who is normally very reserved, showed a different side of herself in this situation. She strongly believes in preserving the traditions of royal life. Seeing those traditions slightly bent or adjusted made her feel uncomfortable. Although Camilla may not have meant any harm, her actions sparked a quiet debate within the palace. It became clear that titles still matter deeply to those within the royal circle. These small differences can grow into larger conversations about the direction of the monarchy. Public opinion was also divided. Several polls taken around the time of Queen Elizabeth's passing and King Charles's coronation showed mixed feelings. While more than half the people supported Camilla as queen consort, a significant portion still had doubts. Some supported her new role completely, while others continued to feel unsettled, especially about the title change. These results reflected a country still working through its relationship with the royal family and its long, sometimes difficult history. Royal titles have always followed certain traditions. The wife of a king has always been called a queen. This has been the rule for hundreds of years. A well-known example is Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. When her husband, King George VI, ruled from 936 to 1952, she held the title of Queen. After his passing, she became known as the Queen Mother, which helped avoid confusion with her daughter, who became Queen Elizabeth II. This respectful title also reminded the public of her important role in the past. In contrast, when Queen Elizabeth II took the throne in 1952, her husband Philip was not given the title of king. This was not because she didn't want him to have it, but because of long-standing royal rules. Husbands of reigning queens do not become kings. Instead, in 1957, Queen Elizabeth gave Philip the title of prince through a formal document called a letters patent. The decision was carefully made. It honored him while keeping the monarchy's rules intact. These examples show how seriously the royal family treats roles and titles. They are not just symbols, they show how the system works and what each person's role means. The position of consort has always been important, but never equal to the monarch. The differences between titles like Queen Consort and Prince Consort show the careful balance the royal family tries to maintain. These names do more than describe someone's position. They reflect tradition, history, public opinion, and the need to protect the structure of the monarchy. Camilla's journey to becoming queen consort followed these steps. For many years, her role in the royal family was uncertain. Some people did not accept her, and her title remained unclear. But Queen Elizabeth's public support changed everything. It gave her the role officially and helped settle years of doubt. Even so, the reaction to Camilla's use of the title Queen shows that royal traditions are still taken seriously, and even small changes can have a drastic effect within the royal household. Meanwhile, Camilla's trouble doesn't just end with the issue of title. The struggle to stay relevant. Camilla spent many years quietly working to support Prince Charles and carry out her duties in the royal family. She did not always stand in the spotlight, but she remained steady in her efforts. Slowly, she built her role with care and patience, often from behind the scenes. However, things started to change when Catherine came into the picture. Catherine's rise in the royal family was quick and smooth. She seemed to carry out her royal tasks with ease, always smiling, always graceful. People quickly began to admire her, as many viewed her as a perfect fit for the future queen. People looked at her with warmth and affection in a way that reminded them of Princess Diana. That comparison alone created a new challenge for Camilla, saying Catherine being celebrated so openly may have brought up old, painful memories for Camilla. Diana had been loved deeply by the public, and now Catherine was being embraced in a similar way. Camilla had spent years trying to gain public support, and yet, in just a short time, Catherine had won hearts without much effort. This change was not only frustrating, but also deeply troubling for Camilla. When Camilla imagined life after the coronation, she likely pictured a time of calm and respect. She had stood by Charles for decades, and now she expected to be seen as a strong figure in her own right. But that peaceful vision did not come true. Instead, she found herself in a clear rivalry with someone younger, more admired, and always in the public eye. Catherine's image was hard to compete with. She carried herself with calm confidence, never appearing bothered by outside opinions. Her focus remained on her family, her royal duties, and the support she received from Prince William. Camilla, meanwhile, began to feel more pressure. As much as she tried to stay composed, she couldn't help but notice how easily Catherine attracted attention. Wherever they went together, people turned their heads to look at Catherine. Her beauty, youth, and soft manner made her the center of every room. Camilla, by contrast, often felt ignored. It was as though her years of effort were invisible in the glow surrounding her younger counterpart. This imbalance slowly drained at her confidence. Even though Camilla had reached the position of queen, it didn't erase the struggles she had faced. Her past was still fresh in people's minds. She had been judged for her role in Prince Charles's past marriage, and that judgment never fully went away. Every step forward had been hard-earned. In contrast, Catherine seemed to move ahead without facing the same harsh opinions. She was praised as a loving mother, a kind wife, and a perfect royal figure. Camilla likely saw this image as something she could never match, no matter how hard she tried. Feeling the need to take control, Camilla started to make bolder decisions. She tried to show her power by taking charge of events and shaping royal traditions in her way. She wanted to prove that she belonged, that she had authority. But no matter what she did, Catherine's popularity continued to rise. This made Camilla feel even more vulnerable, especially as she grew older. Seeing someone so admired and full of energy reminded her of the limits she now faced. Despite her deep commitment to royal life, she often felt like she was standing in someone else's shadow. At public events, all eyes went to Catherine. It was not just about looks or titles. It was about the connection Catherine had with the people. That natural bond made Camilla feel even more distant from public approval. She worked hard, yet it was never enough to shift the public's focus. Behind all of this, Camilla struggled with doubts that were difficult to shake. Even after wearing the crown, she still felt uncertain. She had been trying to prove her worth for so long, but the judgment never stopped. This difference in their journeys made everything harder. Camilla had faced many tough moments to get to where she was. She had made sacrifices, waited patiently, and taken on criticism. Catherine's path appeared smoother, more accepted. Camilla likely felt that this uneven journey was unfair, and that sense of unfairness turned into resentment. It wasn't only about royal roles, it was personal. It felt as though no matter how hard she worked, she would always be seen as someone trying to catch up. As Camilla reached 75, she began to think more seriously about what she would leave behind. She wanted to be remembered not just as Charles's wife, but as a figure who made a real mark. This desire grew stronger with time. She reportedly hoped her children, Laura and Tom, would be honored within the royal circle, possibly through knighthoods. She wanted them to share in her place in history, to be recognized as part of the royal story. In the end, the distance between Camilla and Catherine was not just about roles or status. It came from deep feelings of fear, envy, and a longing to be accepted. Camilla had always hoped for peace and respect, but instead, she found herself caught in a battle that quietly played out beneath the surface. While Catherine calmly moved forward, Camilla wrestled with emotions that grew stronger with time. Feelings that made her question whether she would ever be truly seen for who she was. Queen Elizabeth's choice: Camilla or Kate? When Kate Middleton walked into Westminster Abbey for King Charles III's coronation, eyes from around the world turned to her. At 43, she had become one of the most trusted figures in the royal family. From the moment she married Prince William in 2011, her role began to grow. Over the years, her responsibilities increased, and after Queen Elizabeth passed away in 2022, Kate became even more important to the monarchy. Her early steps into royal life were not easy. She had to learn everything quickly, while the public watched her every move. She was not born into a life of royalty, so adjusting took time. But she stayed committed and slowly earned her place. One of the most special relationships she developed during this time was with Queen Elizabeth II. Their bond took time to build. It grew through shared appearances, long car rides together, and sitting side by side during official events. Even in large crowds, they often shared small smiles that spoke volumes. Queen Elizabeth, who was known for her love of tradition and calm leadership, started to trust Kate more and more. Many people had come and gone over the years. Some made headlines, some caused problems, but Kate stayed steady. She was respectful, patient, and never caused drama. She didn't give interviews. She didn't complain. She simply followed the Queen's lead, showing quiet strength that mirrored the style the Queen had always valued. Over time, their closeness became easier to see. The Queen rarely showed emotion in public, but those close to her noticed how often she asked Kate to join her. She invited Kate into meetings, included her in royal planning, and seemed more at ease when Kate was near. They spent time having tea at the palace and worked together behind the scenes. The Queen listened to her and respected her calm and thoughtful way of doing things. Meanwhile, Camilla faced a harder path. Although she later became Queen Consort, the public never accepted her as warmly as they did Kate. Camilla worked hard, went to royal events, and supported King Charles. But she knew the public admired Kate more. Kate gave people a sense of peace and dependability. She stayed far from scandal and kept her image clean, which made her stand out. Inside the palace, this difference was felt. Camilla had waited years to be accepted, but Kate had stepped into the role with much less struggle. It created an unease, though nobody spoke about it openly. During events and gatherings, the contrast between the two women was clear. As some royal family members made headlines, Kate stayed focused. Even when times were tough and criticism was loud, she did her work. She remained graceful and never let gossip or public noise affect her behavior. Behind closed doors, she often met with the Queen and other senior royals to discuss how to handle difficult moments. They talked about how to respond to problems and what the public needed to hear. Still, Kate never shared these talks with anyone. She kept everything private, just like the Queen always had. This calm silence didn't come from fear. It showed strength. Kate didn't need to explain herself. She allowed her actions to show who she was. This mattered deeply to Queen Elizabeth. She saw someone she could trust in Kate, someone who would carry the values of the royal family without rushing to change things. In her final year, when her health started to weaken, the Queen leaned on Kate more often. Kate remained strong and supportive. She helped plan events and continued her duties without missing a step. Over time, people saw in her the same kind of strong and steady leadership they had seen in Queen Elizabeth. Many started to believe she would carry that same kind of strength into the next generation. Kate honored tradition without losing who she was. After events, she would send handwritten thank you notes. She would call people she met through her charities, asking about their families or checking how they were doing. These small acts made people feel noticed and cared for. She didn't just smile for the cameras, she made real connections. Since the Queen's passing, Kate's role has grown even more. With Harry and Meghan leaving royal life behind, more of the work now falls on William and Kate. The demands have grown. The attention from the media has increased. William carries a heavy weight as he prepares for his future role. But Kate stands beside him, strong and ready. She supports him in public and in private, helping him face the pressures of royal life. She manages her work and family life carefully, making sure nothing important is missed. People across the country continue to watch her. They believe that much of the monarchy's future rests in her hands and in William's. And when they look at Kate, they feel hope. She has shown that she won't walk away from her duties. She understands the meaning of her role and handles it with care. Her journey hasn't been simple, but she has met every challenge with patience and purpose. Now, as the royal family moves into the future, many believe Kate will be one of its strongest and most trusted leaders. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen.